France is planning several repatriation flights for stranded French nationals in the Middle East. According to the French foreign minister, one chartered flight is due to depart from the United Arab Emirates, the other from Egypt to bring back vulnerable French citizens from Israel. Clovis Casali joins me on set. Clovis, sorry for butchering your surname. Now, a first repatriation flight arrived in Paris in the early hours of this morning, and more is to come.
Absolutely. A statement made this morning by Jean-Noël Barrot, the French foreign minister, saying several flights to come, notably leaving Abu Dhabi. And the aim is to repatriate French nationals stuck in the war-torn region. We're talking of a dozen or so countries where you do have French nationals. Figure for you, 400,000 French nationals live or are currently in the Middle East. You have some with dual nationality, some working, many who might not want to leave the area and go to France. So these repatriation flights are not for the whole of those 400,000 people. What the French authorities are stressing also for nationals who are stuck in the region, do enlist on Fil d'Ariane, which is a website. There's also an emergency number to call if they need any kind of information, if they're trying to be repatriated. There's also diplomatic personnel deployed at the borders between Egypt, Israel, Jordan, in order to help people traveling by car, crossing those borders to go into airports that or countries with airspaces that are still open. But it's very volatile, the situation, of course, with the attacks, with the bombings and so on. And therefore, some airspaces might open and then shut. A lot of cancellations of flights. We're talking thousands. I think over 19,000 flights already cancelled over the last few days. And of course, last minute changes and high prices for those who manage to get some of these flights.
Yeah, this price gouging is a problem. Talk us through how, for those who made it out, what was the journey like? I'm sure there was a lot of waiting around and not knowing what's to come.
A lot of fear, of course, people anxious. The first repatriation flight arrived in the early hours this morning in Paris. It was mostly tourists stuck in Dubai who had to take several buses to cross the border into Oman. And from Muscat, then they managed to get on this flight. The French authorities want to bring back first and foremost the so-called vulnerable people. So we're talking elderlies, families, children. And this morning on the flight, you had, for instance, teenagers who are on a holiday camp in the region. You also had several families. Let's take a listen to some of these very relieved passengers.
It's been a very, very long journey. It must have been 5 a.m. when we left the hotel in Dubai. Then we had a 1.5-hour bus ride to reach Oman. When we went through customs, we had to change buses multiple times, and the luggage had to go through customs each time to go in and out. Then afterwards, we took another bus for about 3.5 hours to reach Muscat Airport.
Very, very apprehensive. Because even once we took off, well, during the flight, we were very frightened. But the crew on board were very reassuring.
We do feel like we're fleeing danger. Even if it is a relatively protected country, it's difficult with the bombings. So we're very pleased to get back here to safety.
Clovis, you also spoke to French nationals who are currently stuck in Kuwait.
In Kuwait, and one French national, they're telling me that she wondered all night. She thought all night about the future. Should she stay? Should she go? And she thought this war's going to drag on. I need to get out of here as soon as possible. A word on Kuwait. Authorities saying they managed to intercept 178 missiles, 384 drones coming from Iran. And we learned this morning that an 11-year-old girl, an expatriate, had been killed by debris in a residential area, where leaving several others injured from that debris. That French national telling me that she now wants to leave. And when I was on the phone with her, I could hear the siren, and she was telling me sirens are being heard in Kuwait constantly. There are 3 different sounds, one for an attack about to happen, one for an attack happening, and one for an attack now over. Those are the 3 types of sirens that people are hearing in Kuwait. And she did praise the work of authorities in Kuwait, saying they are handling the situation in a calm and responsible manner.
So this French expat wants to leave Kuwait. Has she found a way?
Not yet. She's going to try to contact French authorities, try to get on one of these repatriation flights. But it was interesting. She told me also that she's got American friends who are extremely frustrated at the authorities in Washington, saying, look, Washington has told us to leave, to evacuate the region, but Washington isn't putting in place anything to help with the repatriation of us US nationals. So those US nationals she was talking to, her friends, extremely frustrated. And of course, they are targets, Americans in the region, with this war carried out by Donald Trump, with, of course, the US, Israel on the front line, battling Iran.